Boom, what's up, everybody? Iggy here, Mind of Iggy. Today, the decks, the readers. What's that mean? Well, anyways, I've been kind of watching some things, some things develop here on the different social media outlets where people are questioning readers, questioning the validity of tarot readings, intuitive readings, psychics, and all these different types of groups of people who do this kind of work. And I'm here to just kind of talk about it a little bit. Not necessarily supporting or not supporting, but I'm here to talk about it a little bit because I find it very fascinating how people will latch on to an idea, and how people will latch on to a spoken word, and how people will just gravitate to the energy. And remember, yesterday I posted about energy follows intent, so the intention. So people will actually gravitate and grab onto the most powerful intention that they can grab onto. And so I'm a reader. I'm an intuitive reader, so I do. There's all kinds. I can get into the explanations about that another time. What's the difference between an intuitive, a psychic, a medium, clairvoyant, clairsentient, and all that stuff. I can get into that later. But the point of my talk today is just to talk about these cards. So these decks, these tarot decks, these card decks, these animal decks, these cards that a lot of us buy, a lot of us connect to or are drawn to, is is energy transposed onto paper. So basically, these cards have little sayings on it. For example, this one says, "Rabbit fertility, your creativity as at a peak." So what happens is, there's different ways to read. One of the ways to read is to actually read just from the card and intuitively draw from that energy. And another one is just, which is not, neither way is wrong. Actually read the description in the book, the little book, about what another person wrote. But here's the thing. This is somebody else's energy, somebody else's thought, someone else's belief system, someone else's idea about what that means. So all these cards here with all these little animals on it, these little animal prints, this is somebody else's vision of how they see and how they interpret, the cards or the animals. A lot of us don't read for ourselves because someone along the lines told us that we can't read for ourselves, but actually we can. We have the signs all around us. So all these animals, the sayings and depictions on this card are based on this person, Stephen D. Farmer, his idea and what it believes. But in shamanism, we teach that the animals, what did the animals mean to you? Bringing the power back to you. And here's what I get worried about is when people get readings. We can put 5 readers in a room. Will all the 5 readers give you a similar read, a connective read? But it all really depends on how the reader channels energy, how the reader is connected to source. And no one really talks about that because sometimes our ego gets in the way. We get in the way and we try to, move it over here for a moment so we can work. But can 5 different readers give you the exact same reading? I would like to try that test sometime to see if that would happen. I would have to say no. I would have to say no because each reader has a different ability, a different connection to source, to spirit, even though they're connected to source and spirit and they're the hollow bone. Certain messages, it's kind of like, an example is try to look at something from this point of view. Sometimes you go into different rooms and they're different sizes, okay? You go into this room, it's bigger. This room is smaller. This room is a closet. This room is the kitchen. And they all have different aspects and different things that we can draw from. So energetically, the readers are drawing from different places and different energies and different space and time working through you because you've given them permission to energetically flow energy between you and them and through source. So that's kind of how it works. Now, here's the thing. Whatever message you get, there are potential infinite, limited amount of information in the universe. An infinite amount. There's an infinite amount of directions that your life can go. Every decision that you make, every little twist and turn you make is affected by the choices and the thoughts in our head. Now, when someone plants a thought and an idea in your head, well, then it starts to manifest. It starts to create the intention. And I talked about energy follows intent. So when you get into that energy, that pull and that drive and the intention, what happens is energetically you're drawn in that direction. Say someone says, oh yeah, in 6 months you're going to get a new job and you're going to blah, blah, blah. Now, will it happen? Maybe, maybe not. But here's the thing. What just happened? There was a thought. There was a suggestion planted in your subconscious mind, directly and indirectly, through spirit, through the reader, through the translation, through the voice spoken, and through the ears, the audible part of us receiving. And so what happens? We go, oh man, I'm going to get a job in 6 months. And so what happens, your body, your thoughts, your energy start to manifest in the direction. And see, people don't think that manifestation doesn't work. It draws in that direction. Now, on the same token, there are other people who don't really want to move, or they have reasons why in 6 months is not good. So they will sabotage everything that you've said, everything that you've created for them to move. Because that's how it works. In the end, you are the one who should be empowered. You are the one who should always know which way you want to go. Because all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. We hypnotize ourselves all the time, every time. You know, those of you who are going to listen to this now or later will agree and disagree with pieces and parts of the story. I'm not here to prove and defend. I'm just here to share just the experiences and the knowledge that I have received from other great teachers before me about reading and about connecting, about shamanism, about the work I do. Did I agree with all their thoughts? No, but you're not supposed to. You're supposed to create your own medicine within the premises of do no harm. And do no harm means you don't do harm to yourself as well as the healer. Because when you bastardize and you start to do things that are not good for other people, you're hurting yourself. When you put spell cast and you hurt other people, you're actually really hurting yourself. That energy has to go somewhere. That energy just doesn't just go with that person. You had to conjure that up. You actually literally had to pull that out of somewhere. And there's a price for that. And you will pay for that. Because that's how energy flows. Energy follows intent. When you have the malintentions to do wrong to others, that malintention sits with you and stays with you, and festers in your mind and creates things in there. So when someone gives you a reading, you have to listen to the pieces and parts that are important to you. And there may be readings where you don't even get it. You don't understand. And they always say, well, something will manifest. You'll get it later. You'll figure it out. Things will make itself clear. That may be true. That may not be true. But regardless, you have choice at any given time. If someone's reading from a deck, or someone's reading from a tarot deck, animal card deck, you have the opportunity to change the story. You know, because here's what readers do. Readers are very good at looking at you, and they're able to, I don't want to say the word profile, but they can kind of profile you in the energetic way and knowing what's wrong, what's going on in your life by just a few key words of what's happening. And that sets the whole tone for which way the reading may go. Next time you get a reading, try it. Not in saying lying. We're not lying here because you can't really lie about it. You just set the tone with the feelings and emotions that you draw to, and that will go into that direction. Whatever time you get a reading from anybody, myself, anyone, it doesn't matter if it's Miss Cleo or the most popular psychic in the world, you still have the gift and the power of free will to choose your destiny and how you're going to live it and how you're going to receive it. Now, if you want to hinge on, you want to hold on to every word that healer or that reader says, then that's your choice. But I'm here to tell you that, not all readers are, I'm not saying good or bad, not all readers bring the right messages to you at the right times, and it can be garbled and misconstrued. That's why for a lot of people, when they get readings from people, they don't understand the reading. It's because there's so much information out there. You're tapping into a multiple source of energy. Unless you've learned how to channel that energy into a specific stream of consciousness into this energy, it's like tuning into a radio frequency. There's a gazillion radio frequencies floating through space, right? Right through us. Even this cell phone, right? There is a G3 energy coming through, a G4 or whatever, because I don't have a G5 phone. But the 5G is still floating through here, right? It's still going through here. There's gamma rays from the sun floating through here. It's the same way with the energy, because we're all connected. And I think what happens with humans, we get frustrated because we understand in a subconscious deep level that we're all connected. And sometimes that's annoying and that's bothersome to some people, that we are all in this together. You know, right or wrong, we're all in this together because we're all affected by it. Here's an example. The Queen passed away, and I posted, the Queen passed away, if anybody cares. I didn't mean that in a rude way. I wasn't trying to be rude, but it brought something out of people, where some people were really sad, and some people didn't really care. They were indifferent, and some people were like, "Ding dong, the witch is dead," kind of song, from the Wizard of Oz. It was kind of brought out all different energies, all types of emotions. Because what people don't understand is there's a lot of energetic miasms inside. There's a DNA inside of us that is triggered, that heard that voice, that the monarch, someone in the monarch died. And so that person who is, abused, trampled on, and killed, their ancestors were killed by the royals, the monarchy, the English monarchy, and their abuse of power and their colonization around the world, they felt that. Same with these cards. There's energy attached to every card. Any card that you read, it has energy. Energy is attached to it. It doesn't matter. As soon as someone writes a word on there, energy is attached. For example, the otter. The otter says, surrender and let go of control. Now, as a reader, you can go in many directions with that card, right? And some people would say, oh, yeah, I get it. I understand what that means. And then that's good. And sometimes as readers, we try to, build on that. Sometimes it's just best just to leave it alone. Just let the people ride and sit with that. If they get it, then leave it. As readers, we have to also know when to cue in and cue out. You got to know how to read the room. And I think a lot of readers don't know how to read the room. And you have to trust, you have to have faith that what you're doing is from spirit. It's from the great spirit. There's other places you can draw your energy from. And I'm not here to judge, but that's not where I'm drawing my energy from. Because it doesn't serve anybody. It doesn't serve me. So be careful where you draw your energy from, too, as readers. Now, the readers in the world, there's a gazillions of them. Take your pick. Some are good. Some are not so good. Some are learning. Some are seasoned. But the thing is, people will find you. If they need to read, they'll find you. And if they tell you, oh, you're the best reader I ever had, that's fine. Great. I appreciate that. You're not there to be stroked. As a reader, you're not there to be stroked and to be said, someone tell you, oh, you're such a good reader. No, you're there to do your job. You're there to be the conduit. You're there to be the source for someone else's healing. Because all healing is self-healing, so they're searching you out. They're searching out the shaman, the priest, the high priestess, the shaman witch, whatever you want to call it. The priest, the rabbi. When people are searching, it's because there's something lacking. And so our job is to help guide them to the best ability, knowing that what we're giving them is information that we've tapped into. What that information means, I don't know. Half the time when I give someone a read, I don't really understand what the message means, but I have to say it because it means something to them at some point, sooner or later. We can't assume that it is. Now, what I don't do is just give a out of the blue read to somebody. Oh, hey, you want to read? Because this spirit has come to me and wants me to tell you. That's just my preference. I don't do it. My teacher told me that was a poo-hoo. You don't do that. It's like a doctor just want to put his stethoscope on your heart and hear your heart, and you didn't even ask him for it. Oh yeah, sure, okay. You want to hear my heart? Oh, okay, whatever. It's not inviting. You watch these shows, and this is why I got popular. Like, you watch these shows, these psychics, your dead aunt wants to talk to you, But, they were doing that for publicity. They were doing that for money. They were doing that to to get ratings. They were doing that so they can keep their show going. And you know, and a lot about psychics and readers and stuff is they have a very good skills about people skills. They have very good intuition about how to read people. You know, but I've met readers who don't have, but they're very good readers, but they don't really have the people skills because they're just kind of to the cards, and the cards let the cards do the work. And there are other readers who combine the skills of people skills with the cards, and that's how they do it. So be careful how you get and where you get your information from, because the information you're getting may or may not serve you. But I'm here to say whatever information you get from a reader or a psychic is that you make the final decision what's best for you. It doesn't matter if they are the #1 reader in the world. You make the final decision what's best for you. Because in the end, you have to live your life. You have to move in the directions and with the decisions that you're going to make from the read or not from the read. Regardless what happens, whatever you do, you're still moving forward. You're still moving forward in the present moment into the future, which becomes the present moment, and everything behind you is the past. So your destiny is really up to you, how you want to define it, how you want to look at it. Everything that you do is by choice. Every decision you do, every decision you make, you click on this, that's a decision. That's a decision of unlimited potentiality. Every time you decide to do something different, every time you veer from a thought, that's a potentiality of an unlimited, untapped source. There are gazillion things that could have happened, but it didn't happen. You made this decision and it moved you into that direction. A lot of us make decisions to the best of our ability because that's all we can really do. We can only make decisions with the information that's in front of us. We can't make decisions, you know, based on all the things that happen to us, because sometimes that doesn't work. You know, because something happened last week. It's like saying, well, I'm not going to drive down Main Street anymore because that's where I had my accident last year. But you have to keep driving down Main Street because that's the only way you got through. Now, you can drive down Main Street with a different idea, a different feeling, a different emotion, a different consciousness, a different set of eyes, a different set of ears, a different set of feelings about how you experience that. Yeah, sure, you suffered trauma on Main Street because you were hit by a car that wasn't paying attention. But that doesn't mean you stop doing what you're doing. You keep moving in the direction. Life is the same way. You don't just stop because you've had traumas. You have to keep moving in those directions. Now you use the ideas and you use that foundation of what happened to you, but it doesn't mean that's going to happen to you again. Energy follows intent, because when we put our energies into the intentions of things that are going to put us in that direction, then they can affect us, because then we draw that to us. How does that work? Man, sometimes I'm curious how it works. But I'm just like all you guys. I'm a human being. You're my human brothers and sisters. And we're here on this planet trying to do the best we can. Now, do we always get it right? Absolutely not. We're not supposed to always get it right. We do the best we can. That's all we can do. That's all we can ask. Are we all going to get along? Absolutely not. Because that's how we are. If you can't get along with yourself sometimes, how do you expect to get along with others sometimes? It's because that's just how it is. So this is why my message just felt it was important to share about finding the right type of reader or connection or source energy to work with, because you have to have, in the end, you have to make the final decisions what are best for you, what will serve you. Because when you step into that space and that energy, a lot of things happen, a lot of things change. When you align yourself with different teachers in the holistic community, metaphysical community, you're taking on the learning of that person. You're taking on the learning of those students. You're taking on the experiences of what they've created. And so how do you create and manifest within that? Well, you create and manifest. You just do it. How do you do it? You just, first you go on the bus, you take the ride, and then you get off at different points and you experience different events. You get back on the bus, you keep moving along, you keep learning, and then you jump off when you're ready to jump off. And at some point you will completely jump off, or you may stay there for life. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. It's kind of not important. But the thing is, never create the energies of hurt and malice with the people who are working with you. Now, there are healers who are damaging and they may hurt you, and they may create an uncomfortable situation. Then you have to protect your energy, protect yourself, and step away. There are students like that of mine that I have to sometimes separate them from my practice and my friendships, because we can't have both sometimes. It doesn't work for some of us. Now, I have students who are friends and students, and it works. But it just does. Why? I don't know. But I'm not here to poo-hoo anybody and their work and their medicine because it's theirs. I'm just saying here, as the people who are not healers per se, and when I say not healers, I mean the people who are doing the work as readers, as shamans and psychics, and you know, all the things that they do. Make sure that you know where you're getting your information. Make sure you know. You know, I've had people call me guru, and I'm not a guru. And my teacher who taught me once, I said, I'm more goo than ru. And I use that because I believe is important. I believe it's very important to know that I am not anybody's, I'm nobody's guru. You know, I'm my best friend and my worst enemy all at the same time. I'm here to just show you a direction, show you a path. And if that path works for you, fine. If it doesn't, fine. But in the end, you still have to make the decisions for yourself. You still have to say, hey, should I cross this water or not? Should I do this or do that? You, in the end, have to make the decision. You can have, when I had my show on Blog Talk Radio, the amount of people who would call in every week asking the same question to me, and I don't know if they knew they were calling my show, that, you know, I learned from other shows where they had a list of numbers that call in. They wouldn't answer those phones anymore because it was always the same people asking the same question. And, you know, there was a one time where I already knew what was going on, and I said, hey, whatever happened to Chicago or whatever. And they're like, how did you know about Chicago? I said, because you've called into our show, and you asked me for a direction, and I gave you an opportunity to choose a direction. And then in the end, you have to decide what direction is best for you. But people forget. And and I'm going to tell you, folks, there are readers, they're not readers, but there are clients who are junkies. They love to get readings. They just love to get readings because they're addicted. It's an addiction to them. And I know a lot of people like that. God bless their soul, because you know what? It could be a good thing and a bad thing. I don't really know what goes in the mind of that person when they're going through that, where they're just getting constant reading, calling here, doing there, dropping 25 here, 75 there, and just, I'm not sure what they're trying to find, that word, that message they're trying to find and connect to. But as a reader, always give them the opportunity to embrace that they have the final say. And you know, a lot of people are wounded and have a lot of trauma, so they never got the final say. They never got to choose what was best for their lives. They just moved through life. They just moved through life the best they could. And then they found these pockets of energies where they fit in or felt good. And so sometimes when you work with people, you'll find people who will attach and clasp onto you because it's comfortable there. But it's not comfortable for you sometimes as the healer, because that's not your intention to create followers. Your intention is to create healed people. You want people to heal pieces and parts of themselves, because there's enough Western medicine that keeps people addicted to the medicines they take. In the spiritual realms, you want people to be spiritually healed to the best of their ability, to the best place where they can function alone. But I find that that's not really happening a lot right now. That's not happening. People are trying to latch and attach onto people, and so there are healers out there who get that, and they take advantage of that indirectly and directly. They don't mean to, but I do find that a lot. I do recognize those signs when I watch people who are hurting, and they all pop in the same places, or they meet new people. You know, it's just what it is. So those of you who are working with healers or working with readers and stuff, just know that in the end, you have the final say what happens. You have the final decision-making process. There's some amazing people in our community who do amazing work at all different levels, in all different styles. And it's beautiful to see Columbus having such a diverse group of healers, you know, a whole group of readers, a whole group of just people in the metaphysical and the holistic community creating. Columbus was once called the Mecca of, the metaphysical and holistic community. But also Columbus also got a bad rap because some of the healers were in fights, and there was a lot of things going on with healers. I never really saw it, but I guess it was there. But energy follows intent. When you want to see it, you see it. When you don't, you don't. But I know that Columbus has some amazing healers here, and and like my friend Peg here, it's a responsibility. It is a huge responsibility. You're no different than if you were a doctor. You have a huge responsibility to make sure that you are taking care of that person with the best quality information, the best quality source that you have. It's healers have to heal healers. And I find that healers here in our community sometimes don't reach out and don't, say, hey, I need to be worked on. Or I need some, massage. I need a chiropractic. Or I need you to run some sound healing on me. Or give me a read. And the thing is, we can share that energy. And we can also, do a trade, or we pay, It's important as healers that we also heal ourselves in the process. My teacher who worked with me, one of my teachers, he actually went to a counselor, he went to a doctor to make sure that he was in the right track in doing things. And I've done that too, just to make sure that, I'm not scooting off into la la land here and disappearing. Even if you are the best, the best, even the best of the best have to find, other healers to help them. And so the responsibility of the healer is also to make sure that they're well. A doctor also goes to see another doctor. A chiropractor goes to another chiropractor to be adjusted. A masseuse goes to another masseuse to be massaged, because it's kind of hard to massage yourself, because there are certain things that other healers have to do in order to move energy on you or off you. So yes, we can work energy, we can do certain things, but there are certain aspects, certain things that we have to do. But anyhow, anytime you get to read, anytime you have cards, make sure that that's what you're listening to is what you truly want to grasp onto. You're not entitled. You don't have to run with that message. You don't have to. And if a healer ever tells you, if you don't do this, something, then that's not a good healer. Someone should never damn you when they're giving you information in decision-making processing. They should help you and coach you through the process. And yes, the word coach is very important, because you have to work and coach someone through it. It's not just, I'm done here, give me my $25 or my $75 and go away, No, it doesn't work that way. This is a life calling. This is a journey. This is something we do. This is, like my friend Peggy said, this is a responsibility. This is something that you'll be in the front. People see you. People see me all the time. People know me, but nobody knows me. You know what I'm saying? They have their perceptions of me and the information that's diverse and digested to them about me. But that doesn't mean that's still me. That's how they experience me. Most people experience healers or other teachers in ways through their own filter system, through their own little boxes that they've created, or tangled balls of yarn up in their head. And then they try to translate that out. Even healers suffer. There's shaman sickness. The healers get sick, and we get lost in our own minds. So when we're healing ourselves, because all healing is self-healing. It's your responsibility to work on yourself, make sure that you're doing well. Healers, because you're working with other people to find their path and find their way. I know that I'm part of the process. I can't say that I actually heal somebody. I'm part of the hollow bone where the energy, which God's source, runs through me and does the work. It's the miracle. It's the magic. It's that Christ consciousness. It's like Christ when he put his hands. Did that come from Christ, or did that come from source, or both? It really depends on what you want to say. But I can't be arrogant like that and say, hey, yeah, I healed that person. Yeah, they were such a mess. No, because I don't believe that. I believe that God, Great Spirit, works through me and helps me to lay hands, say the right words, and whatever, you know. And then there's times where I won't do anything because I don't feel the call energetically. Because sometimes I'm not the vessel. Sometimes it's somebody else, and I have to step aside, take my ego step aside, and say, you know what, this isn't mine, but I know somebody else who can help you, or may potentially help you get into the right frame of mind and wherever we need to go. That's why when I do my work, I always meet people. I always meet people in public. And the ones that I usually don't meet in public and I work with them right away, it doesn't usually work out. It doesn't, because there was no rapport built. You know, it's kind of like it's kind of like dating almost. You're dating this person, all of a sudden you realize you really don't want to date them because they're not really your energy. And so as healers, we also have to pre-qualify if people are meant to come to us, if they're meant to work with us, if not. And so sometimes we find ourselves in situations because we didn't pre-qualify. And when I mean pre-qualify, it's not that I didn't want to work with them. I just want to make sure, they may need a chiropractor or they may need a masseuse and not a shaman. Not that a shaman can't massage or they can't do this, but there's a lot of emotional triggers and stuff that happens with people when they find themselves in situations where they're not supposed to be. Though the right people will always show up at your door. Always. It doesn't matter. I do firmly believe that. The right people will show in your door, teacher or student, either way, vice versa. Because students become and flip and they become teachers. It's always a constant ebb and flow. So folks, that's all I have for today. So there's much I could talk about. But I wanted to share with you those things. Then when you get a reading, make sure after the read that you make the final decision what's best for you. Because if it doesn't resonate, then don't do it. If it resonates and you feel like you want to travel that road, that's your choice. That's still choice. That's that free will to decide. You know, those are the things that are important, because it's very, very, very valuable lesson learned, because a lot of people have been hurt by readers and different people who, I hate to say it, there are people who just are not good. They're just not genuine about what they do. And all they want is your money. And that's where you have to be careful. I'm not saying they can't make a living, but you can't cripple and weaken somebody and you know that they're not well and take advantage of them. Because in the end, everything comes around. You get what you put out. So whatever you're putting out, you're going to get, And I find that even in myself, when I put out there, I get what I get, and vice versa. So choose wisely. And how do you find a reader? Like I said, I really don't know how to answer that question for you, because, everybody has their version of what a reader is, or what it means to have somebody give them a read or work with somebody. And sometimes it's just trial and error in this metaphysical world. There is no Angie list of psychics and readers and intuitives that I'm aware of. There's no, and then I don't even know if that would work, because the first person who'd get upset with something would probably give them like a negative star or something, and it would just totally blow up and just become a fiasco. And then we hurt somebody because somebody didn't understand the read. So that was one of those things that, was a great idea once, but I don't think that will work. No Yelp for readers. I think it would just be detrimental to the business and to the service of people who do the good work. All right, friends, take care. Have a great, great weekend. I will be at Ash Cave with all my other fellow human beings drumming. We're going to be over there from 11 to 4 at Ash Cave in Hocking Hills, drumming along. We're probably going to have anywhere from 200 to 300 people there, which is always fun. We'll really enjoy that. So if you like drumming and you want to be around some good, positive, loving energy, I invite you to come to Ash Cave. And with that, I want to say thanks for tuning into the Mind of Iggy. Ho'oponopono, matakuyasin. And I will see each other. We will see each other soon. With that, it's good to be here. Take care. Be well. If you missed the show, just click the button, play it back. You'll enjoy what you heard. You know, like I said, you take what you want. Use discernment. Be open to the possibilities and all the things that can happen. With that, I will see you guys next time, and I will be excited when I get back. I'm going to be all jacked up from the drum circle, so it's going to be fun. It's good to be here. I will see you guys soon. And don't forget, I'll be doing some drum classes with Bala C and myself pretty soon, so keep an eye for that, for details coming. All right. Take care. Go Bucks. If you like the Buckeyes, I do. We'll see you later. Bye-bye. OH.